wanted to show you how financials work when it comes to selling a business. We had a roofing business that we're working with, and this is the financials that we have, 18, 19, and 20. You can see some cash was here, the 25, the 50, and the 8. So we look at the numbers that maybe are your stated numbers, and then we look at the adjustments. We'll work with you on this once we know what your P&L statement or tax returns look like. We need the itemized line by line. We figure out what really wasn't a business expense or what was omitted from the deposits. We add that back in, we remove this back out. We do a little here, do a little nip and tuck. So we're finding out what didn't belong as a true business expense for the new owner, because if this $16,000 isn't an expense he would have had, it's a benefit of being the owner, and we need to identify that. So here you can see how it affects $64,000 is what he was stating, but when you do all the add backs and identify cash or any interest or depreciation, like interest, we were able to give credit for it. These were the add backs. You add the two together, it's $366, up from $64. Now you have a business that's worth $600,000. Same thing here, $28,000 in the stated column for 19, and you take the add backs over here at $349, you add them back, and you add these two together, and you come up with $380. And we have the same situation here. We only had 5 months, but he's going to be giving us updated numbers soon. There was $8,000, and here it was $50,000 in cash, by the way, and $8,000. So we increased the bank statement amounts, by $8,000. We increased the bank statements by 50. Okay, we do it like that. And then we have the breakdown, and this was the adjustments, right? The non-salary benefits, let's call it, $85,000 for 5 months. We can annualize that and, come up with whatever numbers you want. So if you need help doing the add backs, this is how it's done. The 18 with a line, add backs, anything that was a non-business expense. So when the current owner goes away, these won't truly be business expenses, right? So it's profit. It's an add back. It's an adjustment. Seller's discretionary earnings. You chose to, pay for personal things instead of taking it out as a salary, whatever you want to call it. So here's 19. Here were some of the benefits. The benefits were greater than what was stated, which is often the case. $400,000 was his adjusted net that we can go to market with, and now people are interested in buying it. And same thing here. I think you understand how we do the numbers. We'll help you with all that if that's what you'd like us to do. We do have bookkeepers that will assist you, $25, $30 an hour. They come over to you, or they'll help you with Zoom or whatever. They'll get you organized like that company was. This is how an ad actually works. This is that actual roofing business. We're listed at $599, $450 down. It's a 75% down payment. We're claiming that the 2020 pro forma numbers will be $563 on sales of 4.2. Here's information. G is the code on the BBF Association, the Business Brokers of Florida. It's a 12% commission. So he's offering 12% on 672,000. Half of that is being offered to another brokerage if they bring the buyer to his liking. And a $25,000 minimum is what's being offered. 00 we add here. So this is a code. 25,000 or 12%, whichever is greatest. Agents in the association that specialize in small businesses, they're prone to bring buyers with a 12% commission more than they will with a 10% commission, because that extra 1% added to the 5% is now, increasing their commission by 20%. You'll get all opportunities for a buyer. And that extra 1% on my side, the listing side, allows me to do the maximum amount of marketing more than anybody. I'm spending $50,000 a year promoting my listings. You maximize on the listing side, and then the buyers are motivated, and I have a database, and there's 4,000 agents in United Realty in 20 offices, plus the 2 associations, the Miami Board of Realtors and the BBF, plus the database of buyers and the team of 12 that I work with. We're going to find you the right buyer and bring you the best price. Okay, that's why you want as many buyers as you possibly can looking at your offer. Equipment list, yes. Lease, yes. We have to collect all this from you. How many years owned, operated, full-time, part-time, how many weeks of training, how many miles non-compete. We'll go into all this with you. What are the hours of operation? Any special licenses? Is it relocatable? Is the visa possible for someone that wants to come from overseas? Here's a pro forma for this year. This is a little optimistic in order to get the phone to ring. Any inventory included with the sale? Yes. There's the Y for $100,000. Furniture, fixtures, equipment. Boy, you got a lot of equipment. You got to make lists of different types of equipment. We're going to have a book of equipment. You're going to have more equipment than any other business I've ever sold. Do you know that? Because it's an equipment rental place. $150,000 in furniture. See, his $150,000 generates $4.2 million, right, in gross sales. Interesting. $257,500 is included in the way of furniture, fixtures, inventory, and leasehold improvements. Lease is $3,000 for 5 years, 2,000 square footage. He's extending a little bit of a note, 25% of the financing he's willing to secure with the truck and whatever other equipment. I was the listing agent. I'm only a listing agent all the time. That is my specialty. I work for sellers. I find buyers for the sellers. So I work for the buyers, but on behalf of my sellers. Now I'm going to take you to the association, and this is the 20-year association. The Business Brokers of Florida is the largest business brokers association in the country. There are 67 counties. I could pull it up just by county if you said, hey, Eric, I only want to see, Pompano Beach. Well, I'd pull up Broward, or I'd pull up Palm Beach, whatever you want to see. On this one, I'm just going to do all of Florida because I want to zone in more on the financial component rather than the geographic. But if you choose to hire me and my team, do as many searches as you want. I already pre-clicked on equipment, and I clicked on equipment rentals and small engine repair. Now, you might also do tool repairs, you might do sharpening, I'm not sure. Honestly, I could spend hours and hours and hours looking at each one of these ads. If you want, I'll forward them all to you, and you can tell me which ones are applicable. I'm going to go with equipment rental, which isn't specific to tools, maybe not your kind of equipment, but we're going to see. And I'm going to submit that. All right. So if I do a search that way, and all sources of proving the financials with comments, I'm just going to show you what we have. We have a long list, and I'm going to sort it by the adjusted net. We have 8 of them. Sales service, we can read these, and if you want, again, this is tool and equipment company, freestanding building. He sold it for $200, even though he was making $115 because it's freestanding building. So I got to be careful if there's real estate involved here or not, because that'll throw off the business part of it. So you can read these individually, but what I like to do is I go here, there's 8 of them for sale. I go over here and I'm going to come up with a ratio for the class. It comes out to 2 years, 0.2. So what does that mean? That means if you're making $100,000 a year to the owner, multiply it by 2.2. So I would say $220,000 asking price, right? Or fair market value. $200,000, you would double it. $300,000, you would triple it. Go like that. But there's an outlier here. This guy is almost 6 years earnings, and if you look at it, it's because there was real estate involved. Oh, this was the international guy. There's another one in here that has real estate. I'm removing this one because it's an outlier. The 2.2 is a high number, so let's see if the recalculation helps. Came out to 1.7. That sounds more right. 415 days on the market, 78 cents on a dollar. Down payment. That means seller financed about 12% on average, secured with a UCC lien. If I can get you all cash, God bless. I would love to do it. Here's all cash. Here's all cash. Here's all cash. Here's all cash. Here's only 25 cents down. But look how long he was on the market. Almost 600 days. You don't have 600 days, I don't think. This guy was 3 months on the market to get 1.25 times adjusted net. This was a little higher, and it took a little longer. But he might have also started at $10 million too. So I really don't know the whole story behind it. But here, 790 days. He was making $200,000. It took him 3 years. Why so long? Maybe he started at a crazy price. So as a group, it's 1.69 times whatever your adjusted net is. So if you get us over your financials, work with us on what the cash may have been that wasn't maybe part of the P&L, because we want to give credit for that. Any interest, depreciation, amortization, or expenses that were run through the business that weren't truly a business expense. That doesn't mean a personal expense. It could be paying for a different business. I mean, we see all kinds of things. So let's go over the numbers. Let's figure out what the business really is generating. We work with the seller's number, even though we know that this is what actually worked. But if you have a number in mind, give us a number. We'll bounce it off the market for a period of time and see what happens. But keep in mind, to achieve this 1.69, the average was 415 days. So if you don't plan on being in the business for a year and a half, don't start crazy numbers. Let's start here or better than, like 1.5 times, 1.6 times. Put together a good package, get the best agent you can with the best marketing. I believe that's us. And we'll bring as many eyeballs as we possibly can. Whatever offers suit your fancy, we'll entertain them, and we'll get you sold. Again, it's ericsellmybusiness.com. Phone number 954-562-2019. Bye-bye.